program. Okay. This program will see. Say right click, new, solid, login solid. Extends HTTP solid. Next, URL pattern already we decided. Login. URL pattern already we decided. Login. Okay. Next. Which type of request coming? Get type or post type? Post type. So do post required. As well as init required, destroy required. Finish. Here. See, init, destroy, do post. Here. First of all, you have to receive this username and password. This username and password you have to receive. How to receive? What we have tried? Give me answer. You have seen yesterday. How to receive request parameter? Get parameter. Get parameter. Get parameter method in which interface? Get parameter method in which interface? Solid request. Solid request. We have HTTP solid request reference. With this, can I call? Yes. What is the return type of that method? String. What we have tried? String S1 equal to request dot get parameter. Parameter name, uname. Only two parameters are there in login solid. Two parameters. Username and password. Two parameters are there. Okay. Uname. Next. String S2 equal to request dot get parameter. Parameter name, keyword. After this. Now, we have to check in database whether given username password exists or not. First, database connection required. Connection establishment code. Where we have write? Where we have write? Init method. Inside the init method, connection establishment code. Class dot for name, driver. Oracle dot jdbc dot driver dot Oracle driver. This driver available in which package? Which jar file? OJDBC 8_g.jar 6_g.jar, that jar file. The jar file compulsory you have to attach. Okay. Otherwise, connection place null pointer exception comes. Connection is not established. Then with that connection, you cannot access methods. Then null pointer exception comes. So either add jar file to this application or copy into Tomcat lib folder. Any one we have to do. If we copy into Tomcat lib folder, that jar file applicable for all applications. If you add to this application, it is applicable only for this application. Okay. Now class dot for name. After this, driver manager connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection. Here JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon add local host colon 1521 colon XE. Username system, password manager. Now this connection, is it instance variable or class variable or local variable? Which type of variable required for us? Instance variable. That's what I'll write outside. Outside connection. Now, is it instance variable or class variable or local variable? Instance variable. How many ways to access? What are those? Which class object required? Login servlet object required. This object who will create? Web container creates. That object how to access? By using this keyword. Is it required to write this keyword? No. Why? Implicitly comes. When we ought to write explicitly? Whenever local variable and instance variable names are same, then required. Okay. Now, here, this username and password we have to check in database. Which query we have to write? Which query? Select query. Select query, static query or dynamic query or PLSQL program? Which one? Dynamic query. Dynamic. Dynamic query, which interface required? Statement or prepared statement or callable statement? What we have to write? Prepared statement. PSTMT equal to connection dot prepare statement. Now, here we have to write query. What is the query we have to write? Select star from uinfo, where uname equal to question mark and pword equal to question mark. See, here uname, here pword, whatever I written in HTML, that one, this one must match. But here uname, pword, whatever I written in database field names, that one must match. Okay. Suppose here un, here pw, you can write, but in database also must match. But it is not compulsory to write here and here same. Okay. Here request parameters from HTML. So HTML request parameter names and here must match. And whatever you are writing here, this one must match in the database. So there also I given same. That's what uname pword I'll write. Now, how to set these two values? How to set these two values? Set string. What we have to write? PSTMT dot set string. PSTMT dot set string. 1 comma S1. Next, PSTMT dot set string 2 comma S2. This query, if you want to execute, which method required? Execute. Is it DDL query or DML query or DQL query? Which one? It is DML also you can call, but I given in JDBC separate category. It is DQL query, data query language. If you want to execute data query language queries, which method required? Execute query. What is the return type of execute query? Result set. What we have to write? Result set rs equal to pstmt dot execute query. Now, suppose here given username and password if it is exist, given username and password if it is exist, how many records returned in result set? How many? 1 record. Given username password does not exist in database, then how many record? 0 records. So no records. So result set is generated like this: f name, l name, u name, pword. This is as a result set. Now, if the result set is generated and given username password exists, 1 record will be there in the result set. Given username password does not exist, no records. Whenever result set is generated, result set pointer or cursor points to first record or before first record? Before first record. Suppose here given username password exists. One record is there. If I call next method, it returns true or false. True. Suppose given username password does not exist. If I call next record, false. With that you'll understand whether exists or not. So if rs dot next, here true means given record exists. False means does not exist. Now, given username password suppose exist. If exist, welcome username. Welcome username we have to display. Now, displaying welcome username, we have to write print writer. What we have to write? Print writer pw equal to response dot get writer. Next, pw dot println welcome. After that, username. Username how to display? S1. S1. Welcome username. Else. What you have to display? Invalid username and password. What we have to write? pw dot println invalid username or password. Now, here print writer created here. Can we access here? Print writer created here. Can we access in else block? Can we access? Why? Now this print writer created here, but can we access here? Give me answer. No? Sure? Why? Local variable entire method you can access, no? Is it local variable? Which variable? It is which variable? Local variable also three concepts are there. Local variable, block variable, and method parameter. What is this? Block variable. In local variables also three concepts are there. Method parameters also local variables. Block variables also local variables. Okay. It is called block variable. Within the block only we can access. Outside the block you cannot access. This is block variable. Scope is limited to block only. It is created inside the if. You cannot access outside the if. That's what here error comes. Then what you have to do? This print writer you have to create outside the if. Now here I'll create. Now it is local variable. Now it is entire method you can access. Okay. Here inside the if you create inside the if only you can access. In else also you cannot access. That is called block variable. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Block variable scope is limited to block only. Outside the block we cannot access. Okay. See, you studied in core Java, this is all. Suppose here you observe for loop integer a equal to 1, a less than or equal to 10, a plus plus. Now system dot out dot println a. Here also system dot out dot println a. What will happen? What will happen? Error? Why error? Now A is a block variable. Inside the for loop only you can access. Outside the for is error. It's an error. See, file, save. Now you will get it error. You two members continuously discussions only going on. I observed from the class beginning. Listen with concentration. See, local variable, block variable difference also people are not giving answer. You observe. See, cannot find symbol system.out.println A. So in this case, error. It's an error. Okay, because this variable scope is within the for loop only. Okay, you cannot access outside the for loop. Suppose now what will be the output? Now also error. Now also error. No error. Now what will be the output? 1 to 10. 1 to 10. Compilation, execution. Now give me answer. Error? Sure. Why error? For loop we cannot write semicolon. Semicolon. Semicolon also one statement. It's an empty statement. Semicolon is not an error. Semicolon is empty statement. Why those who given error? Why error? Semicolon purpose error. What purpose error? If you write semicolon, it is equal to like this. Now this is inside the for loop or outside the for loop? For that one error comes. Okay. This A you cannot access outside the for loop. Now it is outside the for loop. If you write only semicolon like this, it is called empty statement. It is called empty statement. Whenever condition true, empty statement executed. Until condition true, false, it is executed. Once if the condition false, here executed. But here you cannot access A. So file, save. This line error, not this semicolon. Okay. Reason that block variable, that scope is limited. See, error. Suppose this variable I'll write here. Is it valid? Is it valid? Valid or not valid? What will be the output? See, you want MNC job, but you don't want to work hard. But I am not. This is C language question. Only class main method is Java. That is C language question. You may answer. 0. Error. 11. Any other? Error. Give me answers. See, multiple answers coming, you observe. It is C language question, not Java. Online students also they given answers. How many people answer error? Just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Online students. Okay. How many people answer 0? 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many people answer 11? Remaining people answer. See, online 18 members, offline 18 members, 36 members given right answer. It is 11. Now, A value 1, 1 less than or equal to 10, true. Then semicolon executed. After that, 2, 2 less than or equal to 10, true. Semicolon executed. Like that, 10 less than or equal to true. Semicolon. 11, 11 less than or equal to 10, false. Then out of for loop. Then 11 printed. File, save. Compilation, execution. Output 11. Now, this is scope related concept. Here, it is equivalent to like this. Now, it is inside the for loop. It is outside the for loop. And here, this variable I written here. That's what you can access here. Suppose, if I write here, you cannot access. It's an error. This is called block variable concept. In our program, here, if you write print writer here, you cannot access inside the else. That's what I written outside. Now, you observe here, if you write variable like this, outside the for loop, you cannot access. That is the reason I am writing here. Then we can access. Here also same. If you write here, you can access inside the if also, inside the else also. It is block variable concept. Core Java most important. But core Java questions also you are not giving. Advanced Java questions also you are not giving answer. Only class.forName, driver manager.get connection, everyone giving answer. The 2 lines every day they are giving. I think the line URL, driver name, that is complete you by hearted. That is only you are giving. But logical questions you are not giving answers. Now, print writer here created that print writer reference. You can access here also. Now you can access here also. Same style here, HTML code. HTML code, if you write inside the if, only for if you write inside the else, only for else. For both, if you want, you write outside. pw.println, HTML, body, BG color, red, text, yellow, like this, level 1 heading. Now, this is outside the if else I written. It is applicable for if also, else also. pw.println. Level 1 heading close, body close, HTML close. Okay. Now, later you can design according to your requirement. Just written like this. Now, but you concentrate on solets. HTML is not important. No one will ask in interview about HTML. Okay. Now, but Oracle is important. Oracle compulsory. Okay. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, not much important for Java programmers, but Oracle is compulsory. Oracle, SQL, PLSQL is most important. That is also the ask in interview. Now, here, if exists, welcome username, else invalid username, password completed. Okay. Now, connection we have to close. Where we have to write? Destroy. Connection dot close. Now we have to import the package. Importing completed. Try catch blocks. Here also try catch blocks. Here also try catch. Here also try catch. Okay. See, file, save. Now you can run. Right click, run on server. Select the server, click on next, finish. Here, homepage.html. See, already 2 users registered. Login. Username triple A, password triple A given. When I click submit button, see, welcome triple A. If password is wrong, invalid username, password. So only 2 users are registered. The 2 users, it is accessible. See, welcome triple B. Password is wrong. If username also wrong, invalid username, password. Okay. Now, whatever I given in this diagram, that is I given in the program. Okay. Whatever I given, homepage.html, login.html, reg.html, solid, XML, everything. Okay. XML automatically generated. Now, this solid, you have tried. Login solid.java. Login solid.java. Write this program. Write this one. Login solid.java. So if you want to attend spring class, you can attend parallelly now itself, possible. No need to wait until completion of advanced Java. Okay. Those who joined for full stack Java. Those people, if you want to join for spring class parallelly, now you can start. It is possible. No need to wait until completion of advanced Java. You can learn parallelly. Possible. Spring class. Not over. Over. Now, this program connected to which database? Which database? Oracle database. If you want to change the database, what are the changes required? Driver. Next, URL, username, password. Driver, URL, username, password. These four we have to change. Suppose dynamically, if you want to pass, dynamically driver, URL, username, password. If you want to pass, how will pass? Now this program connected to which database? Oracle. I want to change the database. For changing database, driver you have to change, URL you have to change, username, password. These four parameters you have to change. If you want to change, dynamically if you want to pass, from where you will pass, how will pass? Give me answer. Whatever you know, try and give answer. It can be right or wrong. Try to think and give answer. Now, driver, URL, username, password. These four we have to modify if you want to change the database. How to pass dynamically? What is it? Scanner class. Scanner class can we use here? Scanner class at the command prompt. Are you running this program at command prompt? No. Scanner class doesn't work. Scanner class in real time, no one will use scanner class. That in core Java you studied scanner class, command line arguments, and buffered reader, data input stream. These all not suitable. These all. How will pass? Suppose here in this program, this driver we have to change, URL you have to change, username you have to change, password you have to change. These values, if we change, again you have to compile this solid program. Again we have to redeploy. Again deploying required. Okay. But here, this is server side program or client side program, solid program. Server side, solid, server side program. Okay. Server side. Server knows only XML. XML. So these all, instead of writing here, you can write in XML. You can write in XML. You can retrieve in solid. That is possible. So this driver, URL, username, password, you can write in XML and you can retrieve here. If you want to change the database, then you have to change XML instead of changing here. That's what XML file. XML file, configuration file. There we can configure this driver, URL, username, password. Anytime you can change XML. You are not going to compile. That is only server understandable format. See what is happening. Just you observe in the execution process. Here it is homepage.html. Okay. Now you will click login. Login.html. You will click submit button. Then in address bar, what it appears? In the address bar here, what it appears? URL pattern of login solid. See login. What is this? URL pattern of login solid. But how server knows login means login solid should execute? Here, what is came in address bar? Login. But which program is running? Login solid. How server knows login means login solid? With XML file. That is configuration. So whatever you want, you can write in XML. Then server can understand. So in address bar login came, but backside login solid.java program executed. Login solid.java program executed. So login means login solid. How server knows? With XML. Like that, we can configure this driver URL, username and password also in XML. Then you can retrieve in solid. That is only now you are going to learn next concept. First web.xml heading node. It is called as configuration file. It is called as configuration file and it is used to configure solids, JSPs, listeners, filters, welcome files, initialization parameters, context parameters, dash, etc. It is called as configuration file and it is used to configure solids, JSPs, listeners, filters, welcome files, initialization parameters, context parameters, dash, etc. So many things we can do in XML. Online students, listen the class. End of the session, I'll clarify your doubts. Listen the class, write the notes. See, web.xml, it is called as configuration file and it is used to configure solids, JSPs, listeners, filters, welcome files, initialization parameter, context parameter, dash, etc. Solids we configured. Test means first solid, second means second solid, time means time solid, table means table solid, login means login solid, REG means registration solid. Like this we configure, no? That configuration you have seen. Now, present we record this one, initialization parameters. Note initialization parameters. Initialization parameters are used to initialize. Initialization parameters are used to initialize solid. Initialization parameters are used to initialize solid. Initialization parameters are specific to solid. Specific to solid. Initialization parameters are used to initialize solid. Initialization parameters are specific to solid. Note to configure initialization parameters, we use init param, comma, param name and param value tags in web.xml. To configure initialization parameters, we use init param, param name and param value tags in web.xml. Initialization parameters are specific to Solid. To configure initialization parameters, we use init param, param name, and param value tags in web.xml. Initialization parameters are specific to Solid. Every Solid separate. How to configure? With these three tags, we can configure init param, param name, and param value tags in web.xml. These three tags we have to use to configure. See, example. Example. Just write example heading and don't write program. Now I'll give time for writing. See, now 4 parameters required: driver, URL, username, password. These 4 we have to configure. Where we have to configure, how to configure, I'll show you. See, here XML generated. No, this XML I'll open. To which Solid you want to configure that Solid. Suppose login Solid. After class, after login Solid class, here init param. In this param name, param value. Like this, 4 parameters required. That means 4 times we have tried. Control C, I'll copy 4 times. I paste it. Okay, 3 times, 4 times, total 4 times. Here parameter name, whatever you want, you can write. I'm writing driver. The driver you can write here. Oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver. This is driver. Here URL, param name. Now, whatever you are writing here, parameter name in Solid must match. Okay. Here JDBC colon, Oracle colon, thin colon, at localhost 1521XE. Now, it is URL. But here if you write URL, there also URL only you have to write. Suppose parameter name, username. Here system. Here parameter name, password, manager. So like this we can write like this. See, these 4 parameters you have to configure. So where we have to configure, how to configure also important. Here I'll paste example. Here web.xml. In a web.xml, first which tag will write? Web app. After web app, Solid. Description optional, display name optional. After web app, Solid will be there. Solid name, Solid class. After Solid class, init param you have to write. Again one more init param. Next init param. Next init param. Before Solid close. Remaining code is same. Remaining code is same. No change. Whatever is there as it is. It is web app. So where we have to write initialization parameters, that is important. After Solid class, you have to write. Any other location, if you write, error comes. You must write after Solid class only. Okay. Solid, after Solid class, you have to write. Before Solid close, you have to write. Okay. Write this example. Web.xml. web app, Soulet name, Soulet class. After that, init param. Inside that, param name, param value. So if class is inside the package, package name dot class name you are right. So login Soulet in login package. So we configured here. We can retrieve in Solid. We can use. How to use? I'll show you. Is it completed? So where we have to configure is important. After Solid class tag, you have to configure. Before Solid tag close, you have to complete. Okay. So here, Solid class. After this Solid class, you have to configure initialization parameters. And before closing Solid only, you have to complete all initialization parameters. Like this, you have to configure. Is it completed? Now, how to retrieve these all, we'll see. Noted? The above initialization parameters can be retrieved in Solid. The above initialization parameters can be retrieved in a Solid by using the following method of jakarta.solid.solid config interface. The above initialization parameters can be retrieved in a Solid by using the following method of jakarta.solid.solid config interface. Method name will be like this. Return type string. That is abstract will be there, but already implemented. Get init parameter, which takes string. The above initialization parameters can be retrieved in a Solid by using the following method of jakarta.solid.solid config interface. Method name get init parameter. Get init parameter. Here initialization parameter name you have to pass. Here initialization parameter value comes. Get init parameter. Parameter name you have to pass. Parameter value comes. For this, Solid config required. Solid config. It is for getting configuration data only. Now, this method, if you want to call Solid config required. When Solid config is created by web container, when Solid config is created by web container, whenever init method is called, when init method is called, whenever first request comes to a Solid, whenever first request comes, init method called, then init method parameter is config. Service method parameter is Solid request, Solid response. Okay, init method parameter is config. See, what I'll do, see here. Here I configured already. Okay, initialization parameters I configured. Init param. Here init param. Like this 4 parameters I configured. After this, now you observe login Solid. Now I'll remove here. This driver I'll remove because already configured. URL, username, password. This all I'll remove. Now we have to retrieve from XML with this Solid config. Now, how to call the method? What is the return type of that method? Get init parameter. Return type is string. Parameter is string. Method in which interface? Solid config. Here already we have config. Okay. Now, how to call? String s1 equal to config dot get init parameter. Parameter name driver. First parameter driver. Next, string s2 equal to config dot get init parameter. Get init parameter. Here URL. String s3 equal to config dot get init parameter. Username. Next, string s4 equal to config dot get init parameter. Password. Now, class dot for name. Here what we are right now? S1. Driver manager dot get connection. S2, comma, S3, comma, S4. Now, driver URL, username, password, whatever I given names, these names must match. Okay. It is matched. Now retrieved, placed. Now, if you want to change the database, which program you have to change, XML or Solid? Now XML you have to change. Solid no need to change. Now your Solid program is database independent program. Now, which database is connected? That information is not here. Where it is? XML. So this is, now I'll run this program. You observe. Right click, run on server. Save. Save. XML I saved. Login Solid I saved. Restart the server. See, homepage.html. If I click on login, here username AAA, password AAA, submit. So working no? It is login Solid executed, but parameters are I written in the XML file. This is example. Only init method code you can write, remaining same. Here already notes you written. After this, example login solid.java. Login solid.java. Right is all. So init method code only changed. Remaining code is same. So in login solid, init method code only changed. Is it over? Now, these initialization parameters to which solid are written? These initialization parameter to which solid are written? Login solid. Suppose if you want to use for registration solid, can I use? Then what you have to do? One more time you have to write. This one you cannot access. I given already notes. You can see here. Writing is over. See here I given. Initialization parameters are specific to solid. These parameters you cannot use for registration solid. If you want to use if you want to write access, these are not possible. One more time you have to configure. So in XML, after solid class, again you have to configure. So about 10 solids are there. How many times configuration required? 10 times. Instead of that, one more concept is there. Context. It is common to all solids. Next, write it. Context parameters. Context parameters. Context parameter. Context parameters are also used to initialize solid. Context parameters are also used to initialize solid. Context parameters are common to all solids in a web application. To configure context parameters, we use context param, param name and param value tags in web.xml. Context parameters are also used to initialize solid. Context parameters are common to all solids. In a web application. To configure context parameters, we use context param, param name and param value tags in web.xml. Now 10 solids are there. One time only can configure with this. All solids can use the same parameters. So one time configuration if you use context parameter, because context parameters are common to all solids in a web application. So in our web application, 2 solids are there. Login solid is there, registration solid is there. Now both the solids can use these parameters, but that is specific to solid. If we configure for login solid, you can use only in login solid. If you configure for registration solid, you can use only in registration solid. But these parameters common to all. So it is better. You can use one time you can configure, 2 times also, 10 times also you can use. Other solids also can use. See how to configure. Just one tag name different. Init param place context param. Now again, this is same, this is same. How to configure? Example. Note example. Web.xml. Example web.xml. Now, where we have to configure, location is important. See, is it over? See, in web.xml, here I'll remove these all now. After solid class I configured. These all I'll remove. Now, outside the solid, or this welcome files is optional concept. I'll explain. Here I'll configure. But if you write here, you'll get errors. You observe. Errors coming no? Because initialization parameter you cannot configure here. I'll make it context. Now it is valid. See? Context. So these are now context parameters. It is common to all. That's what outside you have to write. Okay. Here, example, this is only I'll copy. This only I'll give here. Just write this one. Web app. After that, context. Context param. Context. Noted. After web app only you can write. Before solid. So where we have to write is important. Other locations, if you write, error comes. After web app, context param, parameter name value. So init param place context param remaining same. But you have to write outside the servlet before after web app. Here servlet tag opened before servlet. So before servlet, after web app. Before servlet only you have to configure. Is it over? How to retrieve we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see continuation.